Round 5 of PlayStation 4 National Premier League's Queensland kicked off at Perry Park on Saturday. The undefeated Brisbane Roar Youth in their first home game against second-placed Western Pride. The first 15 minutes was an arm wrestle before young Roar took the initiative. Midfielder Jesse Daly lobbing this ball over for Ben Litfin, his shot back off the post, but Mitchell Hoare on hand to nod home into an empty net and give Roar a 1-0 lead. 8 minutes later and young Roar were on the surge again. Shannon Brady's crossfield ball finding an unmarked Patrick Theodore. He slotted the shot past Pride goalkeeper Bon Scott and young Roar with a 2-0 advantage. Things getting worse for Pride only minutes later. Gabriel Harwash making contact with Daly off the ball, his second bookable offence, and Pride were down to 10 men. And young Roar took full advantage on the half hour. Litfin again seeing his shot bounce back off the woodwork. Hoare once more on hand, he slotted home the shot for his second goal of the afternoon and a 3-0 advantage to the hosts. 2 minutes later and the young attacker secured his hat-trick. The young Roar now 4 goals to the good and the contest effectively over. But Hoare and his young Roar teammates weren't done yet. Abraham Yango with the cutback, Hoare with another assured finish and Roar were up 5-0. No respite for Pride though as Yango was brought down in the box. Pride defender Jesse Rigby shown the red card before Jesse Daly stepped up for the spot kick, slotting it for a 6-0 advantage. Yango received just reward for his endeavours. Receiving this ball from Litfin, he twisted and turned before delivering a finessed finish and a 7-0 lead for Brisbane Roar Youth at half-time. The goal avalanche continued shortly after the break. Litfin again into Hoare, a neat little finish along the ground, 5 for the youngster and 8-0 on the scoreboard. A handball from this cross gave Hoare the opportunity of a 6th. He made no mistake from the penalty spot, setting a brand new PlayStation 4 National Premier League's Queensland record for the most goals in a game. Substitute Connor O'Neill earned a penalty with 15 minutes remaining. He stepped up from 12 yards, sending Scott the wrong way and taking the Roar into double digits. O'Neill then struck from open play for his second. A delightful finish over the top of Scott and Roar now 11-0. There was still time for one more goal though. Western Pride again giving away a penalty with a handball. Shannon Brady stepping up for this spot kick. He nailed it. 12-0 the final score to young Roar. Western Pride wondering just where it all went wrong. A record-breaking 6 goals to Hoare, a late double to O'Neill, and further scores from Theodore, Daly, Yango and Brady. He wasn't on the score sheet, but influential midfielder Ben Litfin getting our nod as the man of the match. Still searching for their first win of 2015, Redlands United ventured to the Gold Coast to take on defending PlayStation 4 National Premier League's Queensland champions, Palm Beach SC. In the early exchanges, it was the hosts that saw the better of the opportunities. However, the Redlands defence was working hard to deny a clear-cut chance. Nick Merkovich found space for a shot midway through the first half. However, his effort scooted straight into the arms of Redlands keeper Brendan Wyatt. Shortly after, and Jared Kyle pulled the trigger for Sharks, not quite latching on to this attempt. Sharks were edging towards a breakthrough and it came on 24 minutes. Kyle nodding Merkovich's cross back for Hoffman. With a diving header he slotted it home and it was 1-0 to Palm Beach. The visitors sought a reply as Russell Woodruff pulled the trigger from distance, his shot deflecting over the bar. A better chance for Redlands player coach Graham Fife, slipped in by Igor Say Jose, his shot went into the side netting. Down the other end it was the side netting as well for Jack Boxall's shot. In the end the hosts content with a 1-0 lead at the break. Shortly after the restart and another chance for Sharks, the clearance only going as far as Hoffman, he pulled the trigger but White was up to task. Nervous moments for Sharks from this free kick. Woodruff looking to turn in the rebound, but the defenders doing just enough to clear the danger. Sharks remaining a danger, but the target proved elusive for Josh Reese. Hoffman came even closer with this free kick, before this late-headed effort also went wide of the goal. But while the hosts were spurning their chances, Redlands couldn't even get that close. In the end, the single goal all that was needed, Hoffman the scorer, with Lachlan Royce the man of the match. From the south of the state to the far north, as FNQFC Heat look for their first home win of the season against the undefeated Brisbane Strikers. And it was the host with the better of the early chances, Umkandisi Nkwani putting this shot just wide of the target. Soon after Ethan Doherty was played through by Nkwane, he decided not to pull the trigger and Strikers got the ball clear. After surviving early pressure, Strikers created chances of their own. Scott Colson's deflected shot forcing Kev Ward to save at his near post. Chris Maher went for the spectacular, pulling the trigger from his own half. Ward had to backtrack to make the save. Heat defender Shimon Watanabe thought he'd had the opener, sliding home this shot. It was disallowed for offside. No such problems for Strikers' Jason Makwase though. Losing possession, the ball found its way back to the Colombian, a neat finish into the top corner, and the Strikers had a 1-0 advantage. Heat looked to pull the goal back, but the Strikers' defenders were everywhere. In the end, the visitors holding their 1-goal advantage into the break. More pressure from Heat after the restart, but again the shots just weren't finding the target. The frustration evident as Alex Smith resorted to a pot shot from midfield. Midway through the half and a golden opportunity for Heat, the ball finding its way to Carroll at the far post. He teed up substitute Sean Owen, but the deflection from the shot was fortuitously saved by Strikers goalkeeper Michael Turnbull. Despite keeping numbers back, Strikers remained a threat on the counter-attack. Makwase looked to settle the matter when he rounded Ward, but Watanabe was on hand to deny the shot on the line. Before Michael Angus went only inches over the top with this shot. A final roll of the dice as Smith forced the save from Turnbull, before Carroll shot well over the bar from distance. No way through for Heat in the end, Strikers with the 3 points on the back of a classic away performance, the only goal to Jason Makwase. He gets our nod as the man of the match. Still in the north of the state, and after 4 straight away games, Northern Fury had their first home match of the season, welcoming Sunshine Coast FC to Townsville Sports Reserve. An early free kick gave Fury a good chance to open the scoring, however Ari Isman and Jonathan Bagley got in each other's way at the far post. Down the other end and Fire proved more opportunistic, Reece Kelly breaking through on the counter-attack. He slotted home the shot, opening the scoring against his former club inside 10 minutes. Jake Perry looked to get the hosts back on level terms, putting this shot just past the far post. Fire player coach Paul Arneson chanced his arm from distance, almost catching out Fury goalkeeper Joe Simons with this long-range effort. More luck than design for Fire's second goal though. Ari Isman miscuing this kick, Joe Simons spilling the ball, it fell to Brady Cronk, an opportunistic finish, and the visitors had a 2-goal advantage. The shots dried up as the half came to a close, but not without the help of some good tackling from Jacob Crowley, shutting down Arneson on this run. The score at half-time, 2-0 to Sunshine Coast. Fury were fighting tooth and nail after the restart, but the bounce of the ball was favouring Fire. Fullick getting away this shot despite plenty of defensive attention. More work for Simons in the Fury goal when Kenya Takahashi delivered this classy strike. At times it wasn't pretty, but still Fury refused to relent. Hanging tough through this mad scramble, the ball cleared off the line. Takahashi saw another shot saved by Simons from close range, before the host struck back against the runner play. Caleb Hobson's cross finding Bagley at the far post, a composed header, and Fury were back to within a goal. The revival was short-lived though. Simons blocking Cronk's run, the ball only fell to Fullick, he converted, and Fire were back up 3-1. And the visitors were determined to not let it slip. Sean Karambassis seen his shot blocked on the line, before 2 late goals increased the margin. Fullick sealing the result 9 minutes from time with this strike, before Lewis Shepherd added the icing with this first-time strike. The final score, 5-1 to Sunshine Coast FC. Shepherd's final strike added to by a double to Fullick. Cronk and Kelly also getting on the scoreboard. Bagley getting the consolation for Fury, while Kenya Takahashi is the man of the match. Back down to the capital on Sunday night, and Olympic FC knew that a win against SWQ Queensland Thunder would bring him to the top 4 for the first time this season. Nakota Smith chanced his hand early from distance for Thunder, while down the other end Kazuya Ito blitzed through the Thunder defence, the woodwork the only thing denying him from the opening goal. Olympic skipper Danny Byrne failed to make the most of this chance after being teed up by Costa Saros. But Byrne made no mistake just after the quarter hour, slotting home this shot, Olympic FC up 1-0. More pressure from Olympic on the visitors, Thunder unconvincing as they scrambled this ball behind. No such luck only minutes later though, Jaden Formosa spilling this shot from Costa Saros straight into the path of Michael Lee. A simple finish, and Olympic had a 2-goal advantage. Olympic still wanted more, Formosa doing better to save this deflected shot from Sam Cronin. But the luck again escaped Thunder from the ensuing corner, a slight deflection and the ball was nestled in the back of the net, an own goal and 3-0 to Olympic FC. No respite for the visitors just before the break, Saros cutting back to Lee, a composed finish, and it was 4-0 to Olympic FC at half-time. Minutes after the restart, it was that man Saros doing the damage again, this time slipping in a ball for Tim Smits, a neat finish, and it was 5-0 to the hosts. You couldn't blame Saros for wanting one of his own, however Formosa was up to task to save this shot. Saros looked to up the ante with this stinging strike, but again Formosa had his measure. Try as they may, Olympic just couldn't find a 6th goal for the red and white faithful, before Saros was once more denied by Formosa. Into the final 10 minutes and with the point settled, Thunder could only hope for a consolation. They got 2, Thomas Fanning with a neat touch to finish into an empty net, before Jed Sugden's pass took a deflection off defender Matt Byrne. It fell to Anthony Grant, a second for Thunder, but it was too little too late. Olympic with a 5-2 win, goals to Danny Byrne, a double to Michael Lee, Tim Smits chiming in, as well as an own goal, before Thomas Fanning and Anthony Grant added the consolations for Thunder. Michael Lee getting the nod as the man of the match. Top of the table coming into round 5, Moreton Bay United welcomed the last placed Brisbane City to Walter Park in the final match of the round. Despite being unfancied coming into the contest, it was City with the first real chance of the match, Ryan Roderick forcing a sharp save from Luke Barine. But as they've done so often this season, it was the Jets that drew first blood. All-time league top goal scorer Royce Brownlee heading home, 1-0 to the Jets on 10 minutes. Another chance for the host shortly after, Charles Mendy lifting this ball across for Jordan Farina, a wicked volley but a solid save by Matt Stein at the near post. It's been a quiet start to the year for former Golden Boot Antonio Murray. He broke free early on, but his shot was held by Barine. But City's problems this season have been more of a defensive nature, and so it proved again. A botched clearance fell straight to Brownlee, a slight slip, no impediment, a beautiful lob finish, and it was 2-0 to the hosts on 22 minutes. 2 minutes later and City's problems compounded, Mendy slipping through Farina, a composed finish, and it was Jets 3 to the good. City needed to turn things around quickly, and Murray had a golden chance, only to see his shot blocked from point-blank range by Barine. No such luck from the ensuing corner though, the ball finding its way to City skipper Matt Biggins, his shot taking a deflection, nestling in the bottom of the net, and City were back in with a sniff at 3-1. The revival proved short-lived though, Matt Capello pulling the trigger from distance, his shot took a deflection, into the back of the net it went, and the Jets were 3 goals ahead once more at 4-1. The hosts with a chance to make it 5 before the break, but Stein up to task as he held this spectacular headed effort. More work for the City gloveman after the restart. Getting down low to deny Brownlee's shot, he then smothered the follow-up from Jordan Farina. More chances for Jets as Brownlee headed over, while down the other end Murray slipped through the Jets' defences, only to get the finish all wrong under heavy pressure. City were finding their legs late in the piece, Roderick forcing a save from Barine, before Murray struck the consolation 5 minutes from time, getting the final touch after Alistair Pacey did the hard work to get the ball past Barine. In the end, the final score, 4-2 to Moreton Bay United, a double to Brownlee, goals to Farina and Capello, with Biggins and Murray striking the consolations for the City Boys. Jet skipper Brownlee getting the nod as the man of the match. That win sees the Jets maintain their grasp on the top spot in the ladder. Brisbane Strikers move into second, Pride drop to third, while Olympic round out the top four. Young Raw remain undefeated in the middle of the table, while Thunder and City are looking for better results after the Easter break. In the Golden Boot race, and Mitchell Hoare's record-breaking haul sends him straight to the top on 7 goals. He's followed by Jordan Farina and Graham Fife. Live PlayStation 4 National Premier League's Queensland action continues after the Easter break. Brisbane Raw Youth hosting FNQFC Heat at Perry Park. You can watch all the action from that match and catch up with everything from the league via the official website www.nplqld.com.au, and remember to follow us on Facebook and on Twitter. This has been a production by Football Queensland for the PlayStation 4 National Premier Leagues.